In this video, we're going to look at work-based evidence and expert witness testimony. Both of these tasks are set for you on one file as part of the assignment system for the endpoint assessment. Let's look at each one in turn and discuss what's required. Here we have opened the work-based evidence record. As I said, it's set for you on one file, but of course you can download this document from the Padlet or view it and familiarise yourself with it. The work-based evidence record is a way in which you are able to additionally show your understanding of criteria of knowledge and skills for the apprenticeship. Now, you've completed a level 5 management and leadership qualification, and this will evidence some knowledge and skills areas either fully or partially. But irrelevant of whether it's fully or partially, you're still required under the apprenticeship scheme to be able to show your understanding of the knowledge and skills areas with work-based evidence. Now, the definition of work-based evidence, and some definitions are here, I'll highlight them for you. And you can see here that, it's everything from photos to pieces to recordings to video to meeting minutes, screen grabs, anything that is relevant in the workplace in your specific role that helps you evidence your understanding of a particular knowledge or skill area. Now, because you have completed the level 5 management leadership qualification and in the main have a good amount of weighty evidence there that can be used as work-based evidence, the amount on top of that additionally that you're required to add doesn't need to be quite so weighty. So no one's asking you to write 2,000 words on one particular knowledge area or do a 50-slide presentation. The key 2 words with work-based evidence is common sense. As we scroll down here, and we won't go word for word for this, but you should familiarise yourself with the document. This bottom line here, remember your writing in this log is to be in blue to differentiate from the standard entries in black and other entries in green, and that will make sense in a minute when we have a look at it. And I've also done an example for you on what your entry should look like. Here we are looking at the operational management section for the level 5 ODM, and we can see here that there are 6 knowledge areas, 1.1 to 1.6, and 1 skill area. You'll notice the entries in green that I've put in for you basically show where you are able to evidence your understanding from coursework that you have done on your course. But as I've already said, you're still required to add additional evidence. What's written in red here is an example of what your entry could look like. And you can see there very clearly it is just referencing some documents that you will attach. Now, scrolling back up to this page here, I want to highlight this area, which says try to refrain from using the space to provide evidence, merely use it to reference where attached documentation, evidence, screen grabs, recordings, etc. So clearly with a lot of knowledge and skills areas, you're going to have a lot of evidence. So we need to use some basic file management. And it's an absolute key area, remembering that you're submitting all of this evidence for all of the knowledge and skills areas, and it's absolutely vital that the person receiving it, i.e. me, is able to map that evidence in accordance with your work-based evidence record. So here we are, we looked at operational management. We can see here where you have been able to evidence, and all you need to do is write in blue underneath referencing appropriate documentation or video, as I've got here, a video, a KPI sheet, or whatever that you feel helps you evidence the understanding of the particular knowledge area, in this case here. And as we scroll down, we can see here that every knowledge and skill area written in black, I've made an entry against that where you have either been able to evidence it or partially evidence it from your course. But of course it's missing that blue text, and that blue text is something that you need to put together, as I said, that links to appropriate documentation. Now, when all of this is completed and you've made an entry for all of these knowledge and skills areas, and you've labelled or named each document or screen grab or recording appropriately, and you've put them in appropriate folders called, for example, Operational Management 1.1. And once you've done all of that, you then attach all of this work to this assignment on one file. And that will then create your portfolio, which will be a mix of, as we said, coursework that you've done and also that additional work-based evidence. Now, that is the work-based evidence record. What we're going to look at now is the behavioural competency standards, otherwise known as the expert witness testimony. There are three aspects to every apprenticeship, irrelevant of what the subject is or what industry the apprenticeship may be in. Those three aspects are knowledge, skills, and behaviours. Now, I've explained to you in this video how the knowledge and skills is evidenced, i.e. by coursework if it's appropriate, and by your work-based evidence and the record that, or log that goes with it. But what about the behaviours? Well, behaviours are evidenced in two separate ways. The first way is via a competency standards witness testimony or expert witness testimony. And for you on the level 5 operations departmental manager apprenticeship, you can very clearly see here that there are four main behaviours. Now, granted, there are bullet points in each of these four main areas, but there are four nonetheless. Take responsibility, inclusive, agile, and professionalism. And what you're required to do is you are required to arrange with your line manager a meeting where these areas should be discussed. And then your line manager will then make an entry in here on how your behaviours have changed over your apprenticeship and where you're able to have demonstrated your ability to have behavioural change in these specific areas. Now, there's also nothing wrong with you filling this out for your line manager and then arranging with your line manager a meeting where these particular four areas can be discussed. When you do make an entry, please make sure it's in green to differentiate from the behavioural standards. And once all four areas are done and you have signed it off and your line manager has signed it off, you then attach this to the assignment that has been set for you on one file. And that is the expert witness testimony on behaviours.